there, less than 30 seconds, and that bomb goes to boom. Scumpy finds one, the second as well. Here comes the push, pressure now from mid. Shotzzy wins a big one. Shotzzy's got to stay alive. Shotzzy tries to make it that bit easier, but that's 3v1. Dashy all alone. Makes it a 3v2. They reach out. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. And if you're a fan of two Titans facing off against each other, imagine this. The Lakers goes against the Celtics, but Kobe Bryant is subbed out. And that's pretty much what we're seeing right now with Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like you see Prestinni's tweet. He's like, I was at the gym, no warm-up. I don't know what was going on. And now I'm going up against OpTic. Let's have some fun. I mean, and that's exactly what it is for him and these guys. Like, I don't know how much time Prestinni has put into this game, but I think he spends more time watching than he does playing. So he's getting thrown in the blender, like, not versus anybody, versus OpTic Texas. And obviously, big shout out to Simp. Hopefully he can recover and get healthy for the major coming up. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tall task. I was looking up like map stats because map 1 is Gavutu, and I was looking at like P3, P4. I'm like, how good has FaZe gotten at Gavutu hardpoint? Like, are they going to be able to take this map 1? And I open up my Twitter on my phone and I see that Prestinni's playing. I'm like, oh, all right, well, there's no point to look at this anymore. It's just going to be a frenzy.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's not chalked all the way though, because I like Prestinni. And matter of fact, the last time Prestinni played with his twin brother Arcitys, nameless looked it up, Champs MW 2020. You got the boys back together in FaZe. This is their last game before we head out to Minnesota for Major II, so this is going to be a pretty interesting one.
No, this is chalk, bro. OpTic's coming in with 3-0. It's got to be. I mean, this is like no,
what do you do?
Like seriously, like with FaZe, like they're an amazing team, and I would honestly probably pick them versus everyone in the league, despite Prestinni being in. But it's OpTic Texas we're talking about. So for Atlanta FaZe, let's pull up the game fuel keys to victory. I mean, really, they're just gonna have to get going. If they had like some bow cages in here, some smaller maps where, you know, Prestinni, if this is your first time seeing him, he's sort of a maniac on the map. He plays hyper aggressive. Okay. They might have been able to work it out, but they have Gav maps 1 and 3. So game fuel keys to victory. Prove you're the #1 hardpoint team in the game. First in win percentage and average point differential. OpTic second in both, and then also improve your offense on Tusk and Search and Destroy. Winning 42% of offensive rounds 9th and 59% on defense 2nd. And also time is now to improve Gavutu control before Major II. Winning 42% of rounds on Gavutu. They do have that for map 3. So if Prestinni can plug and play and, you know, try to play the role that Simp plays, it just sounds funny even saying that. Maybe you can work on it a little bit, right?
All right. Yeah, look at Prestinni right there with that smile. He already knows the deal was about to go down. They're going against Titans, man, the best in the CDL, OpTic Texas, and Scump and the boys got to be licking their chops right now because this team has been flying high so far. Yep. Currently 11-2 series record this year, and going against Atlanta FaZe without Simp. That is like, that's the best feeling ever.
Oh, I mean, maybe though, like I'm pretty sure they want this practice. Like you look at the series and the map set, I mean, they have Gav, right? So they're trying to test out how good FaZe has gotten there. That's map 1. And you look later in the series, they have a Berlin hardpoint as map number 4. That is a map that OpTic Texas is 0-4 on, right? So they're trying to test it out. They know that they're in a good spot. So let's open up the game fuel keys to victory. As OpTic Texas, I mean, they were set in to have a really tough series. Even Desert Siege was game 5, went all the way there. But Berlin hardpoint rep before Major. OpTic going for Atlanta 1-1 on that map. Get the offense going on Desert Siege, winning 33% of offense, 62% of defenses. We saw that big out that they had earlier in Major II Qualifiers to the LA Thieves, so still work in progress there, but they got better after that match. And then also don't let Atlanta trap you on Gavutu P4. Atlanta averaging 36-15 on P4, 28-18 on P5. They get you in that spawn trap, they rotate to P5, they set up, and they've been beating teams there. I mean, that is the crucial point of the game where Atlanta FaZe FaZe really takes the lead.
And we're looking at an OpTic squad where everybody is just firing off on all cylinders at the moment. But the main guy that we're going to be watching right now will be our Mountain Dew featured player.
Best player in the game.
It's going to be Dashy, best player in the game. Control KD is at 1.27, 1.19 overall all season long.
Yeah.
This man is killing it. First in Control, second overall. And I mean, yo, Control? That is why OpTic is just so damn dominant, man. You got to get out there in front of Dashy first. And the question is, okay, you knock out Dashy. He has everybody else behind him, man.
I mean, the guys. This team has won 11 straight controls. Like they are
stupid.
Dominant when it comes to control. It gives them a massive edge over everyone that they play. But I just got to reiterate once again, OpTic Texas has to be so pissed. Their last two matches they're playing up against sub players because like they're trying to test their map, so they just can't. So you know, just got to come out here and do what they do best. Come in and get that 3-0 and just focus on the major, improving scrims.
I'm guessing when it comes to pickups, because Simp is out for a sub, we're both going with OpTic. So let's go ahead and get comfortable with that.
I was actually going to pick Atlanta going into this match.
Yeah, he's actually right. But
now I'm going on OpTic.
Let's see if Prestinni can go ahead and get G with it this game. Let's send this over to the commentators. OpTic versus FaZe. Landon with Steady. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Vel. Yeah, man, it's not gonna be easy, right? If you are Prestinni coming to this game, like you said, Jay, he was just at the gym. He was warming up. He was pumping some iron, and then he gets the call. I got to face off against Shotzzy today. I got to square up against Scump, Dashy, iLLeY, the boys today. It's not going to be an easy task for this Atlanta FaZe team, specifically for Prestinni, who's basically in the exact same spot that we saw Spart in for the LAG side the other day. A weird situation, to put it lightly, Study.
Yeah, if I'm Prestinni, I'm giving Spart the call like, hey, what happened in that series? I watched you play. I'm basically throwing into the same exact situation, probably with a better team, but this is still not going to be easy. You're going up against the best team currently in OpTic Texas. And when you take a look at these maps, most that we have, I heard Nameless touch on it in the desk. You're starting off with a Gabutsu. You got the Gabutsu control. You also have a Berlin hardpoint, followed up by our Desert Siege S&D in that game 5. So you can just tell that OpTic, they're really trying to expand their map pool, and there's no better way to do it than when you're starting off with a Gabutsu. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's take a look through the man who's making his debut technically in Vanguard, a vet in COD without a doubt, but we'll see if he can put up some top caliber numbers. Maybe at least go even. That would be huge for the team, but how about the opening break? Atlanta FaZe run on through. Prestinni at least puts in a little bit of damage, 3 seconds to his name, but it's the rest of the roster who is doing the dirty work. A great start for Prestinni. 1 kill on the board. Jay, I'm doing my best.
25 seconds left so far. Atlanta FaZe, they're starting off this game hot. Arcitys on a 4 spree. This is a guy who I was looking to really step up on a 5. That's looking easy for Atlanta on this P1. Now you have to start thinking about that rotation though. 15 seconds left. You already have number 7, which is aBeZy, in a great position to cut some players of OpTic off.
Yeah, we'll take a look through the eyes of our Mountain Dew featured player, that being Dashy. I know the conversation does get, changed up a little bit, but he versus Cellium, anytime that we get to watch these two battle, it is going to be a blast. The race for MVP, the race for really best player in the game is absolutely on the table. And while Atlanta not in the greatest of situations in regards to where they sit right now and having a new player, based off the score, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, at least through our first hill and a half. Back and forth we go. 40 valuable points still left at bottom ship. Prestinni, 7-2 to start.
He was on a 6 spree just now. I was like, go ahead, Preston, get that kill streak, man. Earn that glide bomb, but he does get shut down. But Atlanta FaZe, they are up by 30 points. You see the early rotation coming in from our Mountain Dew featured player. Dashy has to try to win a huge one-on-one. He is going to get taken down. So now the 2 remaining players that are top ship, you're going to see Atlanta FaZe putting a lot of pressure on. They should be able to get this remaining 15 seconds, and they have ring control. OpTic need to try to fight out of the back.
We'll see what they can do about it. Is Dashy doing a great job at least securing some early kills as they prepare for the rotation. It has been all Atlanta throughout our first 2 hard points. A decent amount of seconds for OpTic as they held the rotation, but really, as we said, man, Prestinni is continuing to heat on up. Now at 9-2, leads the lobby in overall kills, gets taken down there by iLLeY. That'll be a nice 3 spree. Granted for the OpTic Texas end as aBeZy decides to rush on through. He gets dropped, and now some free seconds at beach for the OpTic end.
Yeah, Spart definitely gave some good tips to Prestinni to try to turn this around, as he's having himself one hell of a game 1 to start this game. 33 seconds remaining on this P3. Hardpoint, we see a lot of pressure from Atlanta FaZe coming from top ring, coming from the middle of the map. All of OpTic trying to stay alive, swanning towards that back. because you know how effective Atlanta FaZe are at that P4. You do not want to try to flip these spawns towards that backside, because one thing that Atlanta are so well at doing on that P4 is just simply not attacking low beach. They're not trying to give themselves any disadvantage, any opportunity to spawn in towards the back. That's why they're able to do a great job at chaining that to that P5. But we're going to see here OpTic trying to break in from that ship side.
I mean, this is a weird situation that we're already in. I mean, like
yeah, it's throwing me off.
20. FaZe have got the rotation as well, as you called it, partner. They didn't want to rush too far forward. A very well played first few hard points here on Gavutu, as we'll really be trying to take a gander on how OpTic Texas looks to try to break this right now. Dashy not at all having a great beginning to this. Gavutu now sits at 3 and 7, but a great opener. Prestinni on the other side picks up 2. He and aBeZy combined for 3 overall. iLLeY, the last player up, and really the closest player, as he'll have a few of those close spawns granted at the cliff. A Scump will have to watch at a distance. 25 seconds left on this hill, and based off the positioning, it looks like FaZe is going to get every single one of those seconds, and aBeZy very well may have just found the angle to sneak through for next.
He's trying to flip these spawns. You know that OpTic are going to be spawning out towards ring. So all you want to do is just try to stay alive in this position. Allow your teams to pick up a potential of these kills towards the middle of the map. The hill's eventually going to pop, and you see where OpTic is starting to spawn. They're spawning out towards that P1 area. Actually, one player does spawn out towards Red Tower. Shotzzy takes that player off of that point, so OpTic will be able to get on the hard point. But down by 60 points, Atlanta FaZe, you're not stressing at all. This is a great start to this hard point.
A great start for them, and as we said, that P4 to P5, it's been brought up, right? The ability for that team to dominate on those 2 hills in particular. We'll see if they can make the break, as right now it is a 2-for-2 trade. Arcitys from the top, 30 seconds left, and that'll be the kill that he needs to find. Taking that player off of the point, that was Scump in particular. Still seizing, still hunting for kills, as he and the little twin brother of his, Prestinni, the Sanderson twins, back together, and they are lighting up OpTic Texas right now. Another break. Atlanta FaZe have got to be rolling right now in the comms. Let's step aside and see how they sound a listening with Atlanta.
You want to What's on new on me?
I mean, Tyler.
Do you want it? I got one
Actually,
shot.
Go on.
One shot for new.
Got me. You should rotate.
Yeah, that was other.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, you're pressing your side. There's 20 on your side.
Here.
I'm name over. They're gonna be. I'm name top. He's coming. Is anyone coming outside?
Yeah, I went.
What's like
And you dead. Entering Seth. He's by himself.
Okay, go.
Seth is entering by himself.
I'm Dashy was you.
Cutting, I got
Dashy tagged you.
I'm cutting.
And he killed me their side.
Take our time.
Take our time.
Try to get one.
Scump on.
Outer Seth, one shot.
That's on 6. That's on 8. Come our side.
And you one shot.
Yeah, here's a street, guys.
What shot are you on? One front green.
We need to go our side.
You gotta kill him.
Outer. I'm pushing. Shotzy's already in our green. Shotzy's already in our green. Who's on? Out of the rim. One outside.
Yeah, Shotzzy dead.
Let's set in a hill.
Dashy got me. Alright, make sure we're floating time, alright, more?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You want me at that?
I'm named old Danny.
Top close, sit down. I'm rotating.
Yeah.
One shot.
Scump one shot. He's on like
on new somewhere. One's on new.
Make cut.
Mid, Chelsea, one shot.
A composed Atlanta FaZe having a still somewhat solid advantage coming in toward P2. OpTic have brought this game back, and it has been off the back of the King. Now sits on 8 in a row. As we said, for Texas, trying to rebound off of what has been a very slow start. They take the lead. Let's step aside and see how the comms now sound for the other end. OpTic Texas.
I can't jump. He's on there.
Top green, watch out. I'm done.
Good shit.
Still got side green.
I got one side. You have to get time.
I'll get time. I got it. One, click on you guys.
They could have flipped.
Yeah, beat up. One guy's going top boat, I think. One's top boat in there.
They were missing one. Yeah, top left. So absolute. Yo, get towards you as well, guys.
Yep, I hear that.
Two and dead. Good shit, yo.
One beat up.
One shot. Good shit. Let's go. Where is he? You want top step. One top. Are you?
Hear that. You have right. I
don't see him.
I have your.
Good shit, set. Top. No top clip set. No, they needed us. I'm one shot under. I'm top set.
I have P1 from mid.
Are you? Someone new?
I have to back up again.
Yeah, back up. I can help you one.
Yeah. Help you one.
Yeah, I'm gonna top base. They're top right tower. Yeah, they're going P1 stairs. 2 P1 stairs, I believe.
Yeah, one's a rep.
I'm one shot. I can't shout. I'm take that. Yeah, you're right.
What's top P1? Bucker. Our side rock. A little weak.
I'm still both. Guys, I'm cutting. I'm
P1 Alan.
Take your time, man.
And comms for both teams were beautiful, man. Obviously, on the side of Atlanta, FaZe, you hear Arcitys, you hear Cellium really stepping up in the communication, because with Prestinni being that new player on the team, he's only trying to fill in the gaps, give minimal call-outs, just trying to basically get set up around his teammates' information that he's getting. But on the opposite side for OpTic, it's just business as usual. Everybody's starting to turn up towards this later half of the game, and one player that I really wanted to focus on has to be Scump. He started off this game about 8-8, but on this map specifically, he averages a 1.32 KD. He completely turns it around, picks up that glide bomb, and you have OpTic that were able to chain P1, P2, and P3 together to basically add that up to 140 points. Now they have a 40-point lead going into this rotation of that P4.
Yeah, it feels like OpTic Texas have woken up, and as you said, Jay, it really has been off the back of Scump. And I mean, I remember that kickoff classic map, like one of the first ones that we got to see, where he had like a 0.5 on Gavutu hard point to start things off. But ever since that we have got into major play, he has turned it up, and doing so right now for the squad, as they are less than 25 for calling this one theirs. Great rotation so far, as Dashy will take the head off of both of the twins. It is a 2-for-1 special on the haircuts today, and Dashy continues to mow him down. aBeZy, yeah, hop in the chair, buddy. We got 8 seconds left. You better do so before we close things out. A wonderful spree there out of the OpTic boys, as they will rebound off of what was a very slow start to this game. Stunned but not out. OpTic rally and take game 1.
That was just beautiful from OpTic Texas towards the later half of this game. Once you hit that circle rotation, they dominated that P1 hardpoint. Basically got a full 60 there. But then they were able to chain it to that P2, get about 35 to 40 seconds there. And then even with Atlanta FaZe spawning in the back, OpTic were able to put enough pressure on towards that P3 to eventually flip them and gain a good chunk of time there. Towards the very end, they were able to flip and get those guarantees for P4. OpTic, they knew exactly what they needed to do. The first go around, they got smoked at that P1. Atlanta FaZe, they were able to chain it to that P2 a little bit towards the P3 as well. But then the second rotation of the hard points, OpTic just really ran away with it. iLLeY steps up 25-16, but the king 27-16 goes on an 8 spree to pick up that glide bomb, makes it a little bit easier going down the line for certain rotations. And OpTic, they get the job done in map number 1.
Yeah, some clutch plays that have iLLeY and Scump combined, as we'll take a look at the highlights of this game. And there you see the good old Cellium spot. He brought it out at the major and continues to rock it here in our Major II qualifiers. But like I said, Jay, you and I, we were speechless. We were speechless looking at the beginning of this game. Prestinni was frying. What overall changed up dramatically on the OpTic side? I mean, we can talk about rotations, but were there any plays specifically that you noticed?
Nah, it all simply starts with that P1, because you saw Atlanta FaZe. That's when, as soon as we went in for the listening, they were just going one by one, eventually getting picked apart. Prestinni tried to go for that flank. He gets taken down by Dashy towards top cliff. And then once that starts happening, OpTic are just getting back into this game slowly but surely with great time off of this P1. They committed to trying to break it at least 2 to 3 times. That didn't work, and then they found themselves on the rotation. The rotation to P2 was huge, because you had a couple players from Atlanta FaZe who were there early, but OpTic Texas, they were great off the rotation. They find a couple kills, they chained it to that P2 like I said, and then eventually it was just a chain reaction after that. They get to the P3, they keep the spawns for P4. It was just flawless hardpoint from OpTic to close it out.
Yeah, great work out of OpTic Texas to secure, as we said, what was a little nervy game to kick this bad boy off, but a Gavutu hardpoint win is a win nonetheless, especially when we're talking about the #1 seed. So the big race coming into today was between OpTic and Boston. What, Jay? Boston only wins 1 map in that series versus London, so 1 more for OpTic Texas, and they've got that #1 seed as well.
Yeah, if I'm OpTic, that's the big picture. That's what you're focused on. You want to come out here. You want to try to go undefeated throughout this stage. And so far, they're looking pretty damn good at doing it. They're going up against a team like Atlanta FaZe, who don't have their full roster. So going into this next map, this Search and Destroy on Tuscan, so far these teams head-to-head are 1-1. We saw it at the winners finals. OpTic were able to get a clean 6-0. They held aBeZy to a donut, and it was all on the back of Dashy. He was getting a majority of those first bloods. I'm pretty sure he puts up like a 4.0 on that last map, Search and Destroy, which is insane. But then the next series, which is in the grand finals, OpTic end up losing that map 6-3, and they also shut down Dashy that time around. He goes 1-7 on that map, a .14. Players who really stepped up were Arcitys and Cellium. 3.5 out of Cellium, Arcitys with a 2.7. Looking at those guys to really shut down the MVP player right now, our Mountain Dew featured player in Dashy, for them to stand a chance here.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a lot to handle if you are this Atlanta FaZe side. The best thing about it, though, is when we take a look at at this Atlanta FaZe roster, we take a look at the numbers so far. Has to be favoring OpTic when we talk about the search destroys. We take a look at the round percentage. But you do have Cellium, right? You do have, what is it, like a 1.47? You do have MC on your side, which, again, I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, but the way that Prestinni started, I mean, he's obviously, the gun's hot. He can definitely do it in the search destroys where things start to slow down. But to have somebody like MC, the guy who had at one point like a 2.2 to start off the season, as we take a look to the top performers, he still sits, as we said, at that 1.47. It's not going to be easy. Regardless of a new player being brought into the team or not, it is not going to be simple for the OpTic Texas team to slow down this guy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit easier for them, though, ever since the update on Tuscan. Because you know on the defensive side, what Cellium likes to do is to go towards top middle broken, towards that bottom middle head glitch, and he beats them usually every single time on the offensive side. But now with OpTic Texas spawning on defense a little bit closer towards that church, this is where they are allowed to get aggressive towards the middle map, allowed to put pressure on Cellium to not get that opening first blood. It allows your ARs to just set up, hold down the map, but also your SMGs to really be playmakers. Look at Scump. The stats on that map, number one, 1.69. Also on the opposite side, Prestinni, a 0.91. Not bad. Not bad for Prestinni in your map number one versus the best team in the game.
Yeah, versus, like I said, the best team in the game. Man was at the gym, as we said, pumping some iron. He gets the call, and well, he's here to play. And now we'll see if he can try to light things up in the search destroy the same way that he started off on the Gavutsu, as he and aBeZy look to make their way into P5. Problem being that, well, he's lost aBeZy, just like that. Shotzzy right around the corner. He's gonna hear the steps of Prestinni, guns him down, instant 2v2.
And Cellium is able to find the first opening two-piece on the side of Atlanta FaZe. So now you see Atlanta trying to approach this A-bomb. iLLeY and Shotzzy trying to use their teamwork to try to take control of the middle of the map. The Atlanta FaZe, they're just waiting for the push. They're not going to try to plant this bomb without trying to get some information at least.
Bomb begins to make its way through, and Shotzzy just gets the worst of timing. Does Arcitys actually spot him in that moment? Regardless of if he does or not, MC is there to gun him down. Great work, great coordination from the ARs in the middle side of the map, as now it all comes down to iLLeY. The Pope in his primary location of choice does get taken down. FaZe do secure it.
That's good work from Atlanta. It all starts with Cellium. Finding that first blood onto Dashy, we know how impactful that can be. Said it before the map even started. Last time these two teams have played on this map, tied up at 1 apiece. The first go around, Dashy drops a 4.0. Second go around, 1-7. Got a majority of those first bloods in that first search and destroy, but Cellium shuts him down, picks up 3 on the round. Atlanta FaZe starting off hot. Let's see what they're able to do on the defense, though. Oh, yeah, super aggressive towards A.
Very, very aggressive over at A. I believe that's the glint coming in from Arcitys. So he's got the bad boy out, and aBeZy is there on the rush. I don't think iLLeY's going to read this. No, he does not. aBeZy, a great first blood, and no surprise, leading in first blood percentage so far throughout Vanguard. He and Shotzzy actually both happen to be in the top 5 for the moment. Dashy right on cue, answers back with 1 on the Prestinni. Problem, obviously, for OpTic is that the bomb is on the other side of the map. So that is something that you're going to have to work on. Something that may change up this strategy quite dramatically, actually. As FaZe take back over B, and again, it is Cellium being a problem in the middle of the map. Top church absolutely belongs to him. Now gives it FaZe the numbers. Shotzzy grabs the objective, and he could be challenged quite soon.
And Atlanta FaZe, they picked up so much information pushing through P5. They know that both OpTic players have to be towards that A side of the map. Arcitys able to spot one player into Shotzzy. Not able to pick up the kill, but aBeZy does find Dashy. Now 1v3 left up to Shotzzy. He is going to be able to get this bomb down. Can he try to get out with his life, though?
Heads over toward the ladder and looks to make the long route. Nice little nade. Not sure if it's a pre-nade or not, but unfortunately the nade lands. It doesn't strike with anything. Nice little plays from Arcitys. Eventually gets the pistol to land. They're onto the Ant-Man. FaZe will put in the defuse and now find themselves up 2-0.
That's good work from Atlanta. Early aggression on the defensive end. You have aBeZy who just pushes straight through that A-bomb. He finds that first blood onto iLLeY, and then that's the bomb down. At that point, OpTic have a lot of time to try to get back to their spawn to pick up that bomb. It allows eventually Atlanta FaZe to wrap back to B. They push through P5. They get all the information that is needed. They take control of top green. They know that all of OpTic have to be around this A-bomb. Clean cut round coming in from Atlanta. Cellium on a 4 streak.
Yep, flawless through our first two. And FaZe once more toying with this B site. Shotzzy, first one that's going to be here. A player in prime position. He will take down aBeZy to start. Cellium and Co still lingering, still hiding with Shotzzy around the corner. Eliminates two, giving that info over toward his teammates. And problem being is that bomb has made its way through P5, closer toward the plat than FaZe would like. As once more, it is down to Cellium and Arcitys to try to bring this one back. Dashy starts to distance, but Arcitys does have to go for the bomb. He'll be able to secure it and wrap on back. So first job done out of Atlanta.
45 seconds. I love this play out of Atlanta. They're going to basically try to play mind games with OpTic, forcing them to think that the rotation is going to come back in towards A. But the delay push, that nade is going to give the information. They have a couple players in towards top church. Cellium's on a 5 spree. Can he potentially pick up a glide bomb? Gets shut down. 3v1.
3v1, Arcitys, a bit of information to work off of. One on the Scump, and knew that there was one headed toward Arches. A near opportunity there for Arcitys, and really, like you said, Jay, that kill that comes into MC has got to hurt a little bit if you're a FaZe fan, but OpTic finally are able to get on the board. Sweat off the brow type of situation. If you are Texas at this moment, you don't want to allow for the 2v3. You don't want to allow for Cellium to get hot early. They're able to stunt that for the time, and well, you see everybody getting vocal now.
And that all starts with Shotzzy. Like, Shotzzy pushes P5, finds that first kill. I thought Cellium guarantees that trade.
Yeah.
But then he stays alive and finds two before he drops. That was just beautiful plays out of him. And he's continuing right where he left off. Finds that first blood. iLLeY with the second immediate 4v2.
Oh, and Prestinni, great work at least to bring the numbers. Now a 2v3, all up to the Sandersons, but there goes Arcitys. It's going to have to beat Prestinni in a 1v3. It's going to take the ace to give FaZe a hard-fought third round. Not going to happen. Shotzzy answers again versus aBeZy in that first blood battle, and from there, Texas roll.
Once Shotzzy takes control of all on the offensive side of middle map, it's basically chalk because you get all the information that you need. You know that Atlanta FaZe, they beat you to the middle map, but once Shotzzy gets towards that middle trunk, he finds that easy first blood and allows iLLeY to find that second, because that player who's playing towards top church, he's going to try to get that trade onto Shotzzy, at least even up the numbers, making it 3v3. That was just a quick, fast round. No hesitation coming out of OpTic. Clean.
And that's one thing, too, that you are really going to look forward to as this rivalry heats up more and more as time goes on. It's going to be that, like you said, aBeZy versus Shotzzy matchup. Because again, they've met up quite a bit of time so far. Right now, it's FaZe with numbers. It's Prestinni. Gun Scump on the bomb. Once again, a clutching situation for the guy who got the call just about 30 minutes before this series started. What a play it would be. Looks to lock down the plant nice and early. We'll see if he can escape with his life. Just spot the head of one. Shotzzy there, rounding the corner he comes. Texas again with the round. Nice little moment there for Prestinni. A second earlier, the plant most likely goes through, and who knows at that point, Jay?
And right there, that's when that defensive spawn is a little bit more beneficial on the side of OpTic. iLLeY does what he needs to do at that A bomb. He gets to that outer head glitch, finds that first blood, and finds two. If these island players continuously keep finding a two-piece, that's like the best case scenario possible right now for OpTic. iLLeY finds two, even though he drops. OpTic at the end of the day are putting themselves in a man advantage in the majority of these rounds. Shotzzy on a 4 spree.
Trying to pick it up from a slow performance in that Gavutu. I know he had like a 0.5 overall. It's not customary numbers from a man like him. Starting this S&D off well, picking up from where he had a great performance yesterday on Siege versus LAG, dropped 13. Continued to be the story in the first bloods. Prestinni, known to be a fast player. Well, he is in a comfortable spot. He will have to sit in the respawn screen, barking out some orders to his teammates, possibly. And at this stage, the round slows down, and a whole lot of information over at A, but take a look at the little spot that aBeZy finds himself in. Just on the outside of fire. Dashy deals with Cellium, but aBeZy could be hot on their heels. He knows that there's a play being made in P5.
And Dashy, he actually does know the positioning of aBeZy, because once he opens that window, I'm pretty sure he was able to spot aBeZy as he was taking down Cellium. So now in the 3v2, Shotzzy with a huge kill onto Arcitys. He's on a 6 spree. 1 kill off of earning that glide bomb. 1v3 left up to aBeZy.
And there he goes. Swing and a miss. Difficult opportunity. As we said, man, it is just OpTic. No, I mean, like I said, man, the search destroy has been great, and it's so difficult, right? From this Atlanta phase in, you see Prestinni, he's getting aggressive, just not really aware of where OpTic players are going to be. He makes a nice play, or we're talking about a number of different situations. It's just difficult if you're phased in this moment. It's almost difficult to critique them, right, Jay? Just given the fact that obviously with the new roster, we know this team can be elite in search destroy. Just right now, OpTic in their bag of tricks. And a great trick that could be coming up is a good old explosion. The glide bomb very well could be in the future of Shotzzy. He's hungry for it. He wants to rush for it, and he will find it. A great opener once more onto Arcitys. That is at least 3 first bloods there for the Ant-Man as aBeZy evens things up.
If he takes down Shotzzy, at least you shut down the pressure. You don't have to worry about that glide bomb if you're Atlanta FaZe. This is a round that they need to take. This is the swing round usually. And the majority of our search and destroyers, our Mountain Dew featured player, in a great position to at least spot a couple. He's going to spot one cross, spot a couple cross actually. I don't know if he notices all 3. He's potentially still waiting for one, but now it all falls on the iLLeY. Can he try to find one?
I was going to say, surely he doesn't go 0 for 3. Despite holding that angle, it may have at least spotted one. Or unfortunate timing there for Bruce, but honestly, the information now known as Cellium able to find one as they make their way into the bomb site, and now with numbers. Up to Dashy and iLLeY. Over at the ramp, Dashy not looking toward the bottom. iLLeY falls as well, and FaZe able to get on the board. Despite what was the nice opening streak there for Shotzzy.
Yeah, once Shotzzy find that first blood, it's a great job from aBeZy to neutralize him. They take him down from that fountain area, then into 3v3. I think it was just bad timing from Dashy, because if he spots all 3 players on that cross, OpTic probably played a little bit differently, but it looked like he was a little bit hesitant, thinking that there was another player camping towards P5 or just trying to go for a delayed push. As Atlanta FaZe are able to win the simmering round, now down 4-3. Shotzzy still has that glide bomb in his back pocket, though.
Really, like, this is gonna be our 8th round. He's already at double digits. Great start for Shotzzy. Prestinni and aBeZy working in tandem together as iLLeY there for the first, and they run right into the jaws of Scump, putting in his 2nd kill of the game. Shotzzy from the skies at least gains the information. No official elimination for the time, but a 4v2 bomb being planted, and post-plant position is now in play. All up to Cellium. 1v4. At least able to drop the first, making things that much easier. Also get some info on to Scump. Is he gonna break the ankles? He's gonna break the ankles. That's gonna be 2. And 2 more to go. 30 seconds. Does he have the fast reaction to deal with Shotzzy? Unfortunately not. Nice play, a nice attempt there, the 1v4, but not gonna happen, Jay.
Yeah, OpTic, that was a clean round from them. They find the first 2 kills, and then once they find that first 2 piece, Shotzzy just commits to using that glide bomb. Use that glide bomb, get the bomb down, force it into a 4v1 situation. Cellium does find 2, but just eventually he's not able to get the positioning of Shotzzy. He's been taken over in search and destroys for this OpTic Texas roster so far throughout a lot of stage 2. Sitting at chopsticks, hold the swoosh. 1 round away from closing this out. All out aggressive towards the middle of the map.
Hold the swoosh. Shotzzy, okay, I was gonna say, he tried to instantly go for the challenge at middle alley. Nope.
Oh my
Full
God.
flank time. Full flank time. Scump finds the first on the Arcitys. Now it is instantly FaZe with man disadvantage, but there we go. Right on cue. Prestinni for 1, aBeZy with the other. FaZe look to rally, but it's the nade. It is the nade that cuts down 1. Shotzzy again. Now at 12 kills total. Is it going to be the clutch from aBeZy, or will this game end here? The timing could work out. aBeZy makes his way through. Thought for a moment Shotzzy may just fly his way through P5, but 40 seconds left. Corrals that bomb. Ready for the first challenge. Is he going to be on cue for the second? Tosses out the stun and has the info. How does he look to play now with the information? 28 seconds now, Jay.
aBeZy, he's gonna make such a heads-up play, gonna bring this bomb all the way towards that B site. So it's gonna take Dashy quite some time to work his way across the map. It's now with 40 seconds left on the clock. What kind of information can Dashy pick up? He's just pre-aiming from top fire, trying to see if he rotates towards the middle of the map, trying to see if he's pushing out towards back P5. He's just wasting a lot of that clock currently. 25 seconds remaining. They're just running back and forth. I don't know if Dashy's gonna have enough time. He's just checking way too many things.
Yeah, 20 seconds. Trying to check everything off the list. All the angles, all the routes, all the plays. With 15 seconds, aBeZy might have got the information. He backs on up. With 10 seconds to play, it looks like it will be the clutch from FaZe. It will be the clutch from aBeZy. The 1v2 trying his best to keep FaZe afloat, at least get him a map on the board, get them some life in this series. A nice clutch there, trying to stay alive. And Jay, so many different players would have gone for the challenge, right? Over toward top fire. You got the guy stunned, but he looks to play the timing. It works out well. FaZe still in this 5-4.
aBeZy plays beautifully, finds that first blood onto Shotzzy, and then once he hits Dashy with that first blood, you know that Dashy's not going to fully commit towards the gunfight, but then uses the tactical, uses that stun grenade to slow him down, wraps that bomb all the way to B, and then just plays the clock beautifully to keep Atlanta FaZe in this game. But into round 10 we go. Atlanta FaZe putting a lot of pressure once again on defense towards his A side. OpTic have read it a majority of his time, but aBeZy finds first blood.
And that's just great adjustments being made out of Atlanta FaZe. Prestinni and aBeZy did that just a few rounds ago. This time it works out perfectly. And just like that, everybody from OpTic falls, except for Bruce, except for our Mountain Dew featured player. Can Bruce go big? Can Dashy make the plays? Gun from Prestinni, and just like that, FaZe fire on through the early strats out of the old E-United duo of aBeZy and Prestinni. Start things off hot, and the rest of the roster answers from there. It is time for OT.
Yeah, I thought that was Simp and aBeZy on the ringer right there. That looked like straight chemistry out of those two players to find every single kill in that last round. To now force us to the round 11. Such a huge map if Atlanta FaZe can try to win this one, at least even up the series. But they are going to be on offense. This time OpTic are going to slow it down a little bit, not being aggressive towards the middle of the map. You see Atlanta FaZe just taking full control of field.
Oh, full control. They're going to call on Prestinni to go for this. He at least gets the information. Those that are in church, but what does he do with that info? Relied so heavily on him, not able to stay alive. iLLeY catches the shoulder, and with that FaZe, I've got to seize on in. Take a look at player number 3, Shotzzy. He snuck his way through. He has snuck his way through. Gives OpTic the numbers. A 4 versus 2. And once more on the flank, Arcitys feeling the pinch, feeling the pressure. Shotzzy and Scump take a quick gander at each other and realize this very well may be ours. MC, another 1v4, finds the first, but will not have the success from there. OpTic will hold on once more in another game, getting it done in round 11, and Shotzzy goes for 13 and 6.
What an insane round 11 it was, man. OpTic, obviously, it looks like they were going to play a little bit safer on the defensive side. Atlanta FaZe just put a lot of pressure on towards field. If I'm Prestinni there, you have to try to stay alive, though. You do not want to give up that first blood, especially on their side of the map, because you have control of their side. Now all you have to do is worry about middle, worry about your flank. But once he gets taken down, someone has to fill his gap. And this is where Atlanta FaZe are really missing Simp, because Simp, a majority of the times when he plays Tuscan Search and Destroy, he's always around that P5 area, always trying to go for that late flank. Him and Shotzzy have a majority of one-on-ones. But when Prestinni gets first blooded, you force someone to go fill that gap, they completely give up flank, and that's why you see Shotzzy already in your spawn 15 seconds into the round. He finds the opening. Once he gets behind them, he turns it into a 4v2. Even though Atlanta FaZe, they get the bomb down, they single out Arcitys, then a 1v4 for Cellium. Not going to be an easy task to get done. OpTic, they just took advantage of everything that Atlanta FaZe were giving them. All the information that they provided to them throughout that last round was beautiful. You have Scump, you have iLLeY who plays slow towards field. They spot all the players being aggressive. So this is when you tell Shotzzy, hey, you can commit to that late flank. And then eventually, once they find that first kill, this is when Shotzzy gets back into the play. That is beautiful search and destroy out of OpTic. They've been turning up in S&D for quite some time now.
Yeah, they absolutely have. You got to give them props for the W that they're able to secure. A few nice moments, though, out of the Atlanta FaZe side. I mean, you and I, we were calling out the little moments where Prestinni and aBeZy started to get on track. You could kind of feel, right, looking through the eyes of Prestinni throughout the rounds, starting to get a figure for it, starting to get an idea of the way that this Tuscan plays, and maybe even a few of the strategies that OpTic Texas like to bring on out. But in that first blood, it ends up dying, and from there, OpTic will take all of the mistakes that you make and make them pay for it. OpTic Texas now up 2-0, but it has not been a bloodbath like many would have expected. Prestinni doing his darndest to try and give FaZe at least a map, give them a fighting chance. But folks, when we come back after the break, it is time for some Gavutu control. Will it be the 3-0 sweep, or could it be a chance for Atlanta? Stay with us, as we'll be back right after this.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew.
Howdy friends, and welcome back to the final day of our Major II Qualifiers. It is not long before we'll be sitting in Minnesota, shivering but having a great time watching some COD. But right now, it is OpTic Texas versus the Atlanta FaZe. That man at the very bottom right of your screen, filling in for Simp. Chris, I know you're watching this. We wish you the absolute best, brother. Hope that you're recovering well. Prestinni's doing his best, and so far he's had a pretty good performance. But let's go and hop into our top performers in control up to this point. It's been pretty defined, right, on who are the two guys to look out for. It feels like, again, this is like the MVP race. The two best players in the game leading their teams right now in control as well.
Yeah, both of these guys are insane, man. Two of the best players that we have in the game, if not the best currently. 1.27 out of Dashy, 1.10 out of Cellium. These guys really know how to play their kills. But now is when we focus on the tick segment. This is where we can get to see Atlanta FaZe play control completely different. Even though they don't have their full roster, this is not going to be easy. You're going up against an OpTic Texas team who are currently on a 13-game win streak, which is tied, I'm pretty sure, with Toronto Ultra's control win streak last year. So this is insane. This is a tall task to handle, especially when you have the #1 KD on the side of OpTic. You have Dashy with a 1.27, but more specifically, Shotzzy on this map is insane. He has a 1.4, so you have to try to shut down both of those guys.
So you're telling me you like their chances to break the record?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I really do.
That's all I was getting at. I just had to make sure. Yeah, I think the odds are stacked in their favor, but as we said, for Atlanta, we'll see what they can do. I mean, in all seriousness, right? Once this FaZe team is back to full strength with the ticks, we expect for this team just to get that much better at control. But into the round one we go. OpTic off to an excellent start, at least in regards to bottom boat. Shotzzy, well, living up to that #1 KD number. Nice 3-0 beginning for him as Arcitys on the long route. We'll see if it eventually will pay off for him. 2 ticks through for OpTic, but Arcitys doing the best that he can to try and be a thorn in the side. Was behind enemy lines for the moment, but time looks to pause here for a second. 58 seconds on the clock. FaZe, great job at the early wipe, but the next team fight is going to make all of the difference. Early shots established as aBeZy looks to hold down P1.
And you see what OpTic are trying to do. They're trying to take control of ring before they complete this A capture. Huge win coming in from iLLeY, but he does get traded. So now Atlanta FaZe, they keep control of the map. They have top ring. OpTic should be able to close out this A point. They're up by 2 lives currently. You see #4 and #2 though. Their sole focus is trying to eliminate Cellium from top ring because you want to try to attack this from the front.
As we said, that top ring basically works as a checkpoint for the attacking team. You're looking for every single advantage that you can get, especially when it comes down to that B objective on attack. We talk about the numbers, we talk about the statistics. Not easy at all. We'll see if OpTic can make it work, and in the opener would just be another dagger that Atlanta FaZe would have to deal with, that they would have to suffer. Prestinni, a decent start. Some big kills up next, but unfortunately caught sprinting. He and Arcitys drop in a moment's notice. aBeZy on the long flank, due to timing, very well may get found out. That is a nice 3 spree granted for OpTic as they made their way into P1, and right now it is Shotzzy in the back lines, helping, guiding this roster to the objective and doing well at it. Dashy now for 3, nearly makes it 4, tosses out the nade. Some great damage done. OpTic do stop the clock.
They have a 2-stack going as well. They're just trying to at least get 1 tick of progression, but Prestinni, great shots, great nade to at least find that 2-piece to get him off of that point before the segment is completed. But 14-9, 14-8 now, as OpTic are finding every single kill in the feed. They get back onto this point. All of Atlanta FaZe starting to spawn out towards the back. The King not missing on a 4 spree. First tick is in. OpTic looking like they're trying to close it out here. Oh my!
He cannot miss! He cannot miss! Shades of Shotzzy at the Major, and now Scump is doing the exact same thing. 1 more away from the glide bomb as he will carry that streak into round #2 with a smile on his face because OpTic just won the opening attack.
That's just way too clean from OpTic. They have their game plan. They say, hey, as long as we can take control of top ring, we have guys that can shoot really straight, so we can gun them off those back head glitches, take them off for that tank, and they do a great job of doing so. They put on so much pressure from top ring. They allow 1 player to eventually sneak through back ring, which was Shotzzy. He finds that kill onto Cellium and basically breaks the entire setup on the side of Atlanta FaZe. OpTic take round #1. Scump on a 6 spree, 1 off that glide bomb.
And it's already terrifying if you're Atlanta in regards to that round 5, already down by 6 ticks. And as we said, folks, that does decide defense now in round number 5. But hey, a great little beginning for Atlanta, an array of kills to begin their campaign. At that A zone to kick off round number 2. Scump still in hunt for the streak, does not earn it. Another positive if you're Atlanta. We're talking about all the negatives, right? All kinds of negativity right now for FaZe. But hey, they've started off well. They get Scump off of the spree, and they've already got their first tick.
They have their first tick at A, and they also have top ring control. So you see Arcitys, he's just taking his time. Him and his brother, Prestinni, trying to time this perfectly. If Arcitys can pick up this kill, you could potentially see Prestinni just push straight on and try to get towards that point, but he gets taken down. The second tick of aggression is going to come in from Atlanta. OpTic, they're just going to decide to give this one up, play the defensive forward at B.
You don't mind that strategy, given the way the things have gone, but gonna say if they find another pick, they find somebody over in oil, that could be their chance, and just like that, they look to seize on in the point. aBeZy, like a thief, decides to hop on out, not trying to make his position known, and watch your head indeed. Going down the stairs, his body hits the floor, and just like that, OpTic have now got FaZe in the trap, putting him in the full Nelson as Prestinni has got to deal with the pain. Not really able to breathe. There's 38 seconds left. OpTic breathing down their necks, as it would seem. A 1-for-1 trade, but with 24 seconds, can FaZe find anything? Is iLLeY now having a spree of his own? It is highlights for everybody right now on Texas. 13 and 6. Not much time, not much hope. FaZe continue to fall, and one more for the glide. Can he find it with 3 seconds left?
It's a big kill if he can get it. You don't want to die though. You want to at least stay alive, and he does so, because you got to keep in mind that Scump still has his glide bomb to work with on this offensive round. Atlanta FaZe, they just simply could not get out of their spawn, man. Let me tell you, if I had to play against Shotzzy on some of these maps, I'd lose my damn mind. He's just in their spawn, just running around. You see, when he pops that kill, he immediately just pulls out the pistol, runs to the back of the spawn. He eventually gets taken down, but he's just causing so much havoc in the spawn of Atlanta FaZe. The smiles are all there. I'm happy to see that, but down 0-2 in this series, down 0-2 in the control. OpTic Texas, this is looking way too easy for them right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And hey, it's good to see. If you're an Atlanta fan, if you are Atlanta FaZe, it's good to see that the boys are smiling. They're at least having a good time, despite what has been somewhat of a smack show so far throughout this Kavuta. You have to call it out. iLLeY does, in fact, earn the glide bomb. He finds the 7 in a row that Scump was desperately hunting for over in that round number 1. So he'll carry that over throughout the remainder of this game. And well, so far throughout this attack, FaZe, a great little job in the early stages of this round, as we said, trying to set up the same spawn trap that OpTic had them scratching their heads with in round number 2, but iLLeY breaks through with 2, Scump on the 3rd, and just like that, OpTic sprint their way into bottom bow.
Now there's 40 seconds left. You see number 3 on your minimap. He's just trying to control top ring. He's gonna be able to find that kill. Great work out of him. All they have to do is just eliminate aBeZy from this position. As Dashy finds one, they're able to stop that clock. 37 seconds on it. Dashy does get taken down, and right now it's looking like Atlanta FaZe, they're just trying to commit towards this B point. They are not trying to allow Shotzzy to be the playmaker, so they're going to give up A, just try to stack over toward this B side.
Looking for the stack. aBeZy again continues to be a problem in these close quarters, trying to hold off everything that he can for now. Shotzzy does get handled, and from there OpTic will stop the time. An instant engagement. aBeZy doesn't check his right, and with that, iLLeY stay alive again, brought down to 9 HP, but that is not enough to take the Pope down. Makes his way on through, and now inside oil, he gets found out. 26 seconds and some change. Is OpTic doing everything they can just to make sure they get the job done today? It's been a little bit dicey. FaZe have had to make them work. At the end of the day, it will be the A capture and another minute added onto the clock. As OpTic continue to dance between both sides of the map, Dashy, our Mountain Dew featured player, is going to have a lot of assistance now as the streak comes in from the skies. We say goodnight to MC, but aBeZy doing the best he can to try to hold things off for the time. Arcitys contested now in the point. Great support fire. Minute left on the clock.
You still gotta think though that OpTic have another glide bomb to work with. They're up by 4 lives currently. But aBeZy towards top ring, he has to try to go big. He does find one. try to do as much as you can to keep top ring control. He eventually does get taken down. So now this should allow OpTic with top ring to use that second glide bomb to try to go on this point.
Just want to find that pick before they bring it out. Shotzzy. Aggression does not pay off in that instance. Oh, but it will for the other side. aBeZy, how about the plays? You can see he wanted to go for Dashy. He wanted blood. Is not going to get it there. As the time begins to tick away, as we said, is it going to be the glide bomb invested, or will it be held on to? Is it time to buy, or is it time to save? It looks as if it may be the time to save. However, all of that depends on if that nade can come through. It does. Shotzzy somehow has managed to find his way on the flank. aBeZy continues to be a problem. Atlanta with no respawns left and 6 seconds now on that game time. Dashy with the support fire takes the head off of Arcitys. As we said, the barbershop is in full force, and Scump from the skies.
Oh my.
Makes things that much easier, but they clear them off the point. They clear them off the point. The streak does not come into use. And FaZe, they went around, Jay. They went around.
Yeah, that's really good work out of Atlanta FaZe, because I thought OpTic, once they got that clean forward dead, you got them all spawning out towards green. The glide bomb gets invested. They should be able to close it out. No more respawns on the side of Atlanta FaZe, 5v2. But then Prestinni, he goes big in those final moments. I'm pretty sure he was able to find 2 kills to get him off of that point. And with only 2 seconds left, once Scump gets out of that glide bomb usage, he's way too far away to get on it. So Atlanta FaZe, they stay alive. They get the investment from OpTic to use both of those glide bombs. So this could be a good game now. Atlanta FaZe can turn this around.
Yeah, they can. They are going to have to win an attack, though. That is the biggest thing, and maybe 2 attacks based off of how that current tick looks. We'll see. Who knows? It's possible, but we'll see what can happen. And as we said, this is also big for Atlanta FaZe in regards to seeding, right? They want to try to win as many maps as possible. If they are, in fact, going to lose this series, which it's possible, a 3-2 record is going to be quite competitive with a lot of other teams in the league. So any maps that you can take, any rounds in this game would be huge. But so far, it is great dominance displayed already for the bottom side of your mini map there from OpTic. And with that being the case, FaZe make the rotation and now find themselves in that B zone. Prestinni, by the way, sitting on 6 in a row. That could be huge. Oof. And just like that, Shotzzy takes him down.
He gets taken down, but they do complete this first segment over towards A. Now, if you're OpTic, you want to try to push the ring. You want to try to set up on that flank. iLLeY finds one, but he immediately gets taken down. So now someone has to try to fill the gap, and it's good that it's Shotzzy. You take that guy down. Do not allow him to be in your spawn. Great shots coming in from Prestinni to take him down. Second tick is about to be completed towards A. OpTic down by 5 lives. Atlanta, you could potentially pick up some streaks here to try to close out this offensive round. They can be huge to try to break in towards B.
And as you said, really, once you capture that A zone, you're instantly looking for P1. Arcitys looks for it, doesn't get the info, but doesn't want to die. Up majorly right now in lives is player 4. Going to be called upon. It's going to be on to Scump. Try to hold off this initial push. A few shots come in toward green. Allows for a scare in the FaZe camp. And that's where the King looks to strike 2 to start off. A great opening halt out of OpTic Texas. Scump still sitting in top green in primary position, but Prestinni answers back with 2 of his own. It wasn't the glide bomb last time around. We'll see if he can do it this time. Beginning to heat on up and doing his best to try and give Atlanta FaZe a map to try to make them somewhat competitive. But FaZe will have to deal with Shotzzy in their base. Job done. And with a minute left, we'll see what FaZe can do.
Now OpTic need to fight out of this spawn. They do not have top ring. They do not have any control of the map right now. As Atlanta FaZe, they're able to find a 2-piece, make it 3. Last player up to at least watch the cross is going to be Dashy. He hits a couple shots, but aBeZy putting on the pressure, at least able to take down 1. Atlanta do get on that point. 15 to 10 lives remaining. The King does find 2, though. That relieves the pressure. 40 seconds left. Atlanta FaZe have like 1 or 2 more good pushes.
Yep. 1 or 2 more. See if anybody looks to make the flank. Take a look at the bottom side of your map. We'll see somebody do it for FaZe. And it looks like it is going to be on to Cellium. So making his way through green. We'll see how that strategy looks to work out as Dashy, again, Mountain Dew feature player, having himself a game so far. 21 and 13 and holding valiantly right now at P1 for the game. Can FaZe extend it? Can they stay alive? as the final push looks to come on in. iLLeY ends up getting taken down. It will be a trade that does favor the side of Atlanta, as Dashy still remains alive. He eventually gets dealt with. A 4 versus 11. 3 seconds on the clock. FaZe still here. Cellium firing. Prestinni over at the rock, but they both get taken down. They both get taken down, and just like that, OpTic Texas will walk away with the game. A 3-1 win on Gavutu. An overall 3-0 victory in the series versus FaZe. And that will be the control record captured, the 12-game spree secured, and the #1 seed heading into the Minnesota Major.
OpTic just came in and they handled business. Obviously, Atlanta FaZe, didn't have their full roster. Simp is such a big part of this team, and it showed. It definitely showed. OpTic Texas, they start off on that map, #1. Started off a little slow, but then they turned up towards the later half. The search and destroy was the biggest thing, though, because OpTic, they always put themselves in a great position to close it out. The fact that they were in another round 11 situation, I feel like OpTic, at least in every single search and destroy, they have the potential to go round 11. They're like best friends now. But this time, they're able to clutch up and they're able to win these round 11s. I'm pretty sure that's like 3 round 11s in a row for OpTic Texas. Huge clutch up from them. And then they're going into their best game mode of control. Right there, it got a little scary, though, in that last round. You saw Atlanta FaZe are putting a lot of pressure on. They were up by 7 kills. No more respawns remaining on the side of OpTic. But I think the biggest turning point had to be Dashy. Dashy, the fact that he was able to stay alive towards bottom ring area. He flanks, and then even with his teammates dying on point, Atlanta FaZe put a lot of pressure through the middle, through a lot towards top ring. Dashy finds that 2-piece to eventually shut down that initial push. He eventually gets taken down, but then at that point, Atlanta FaZe only have 2 players left in the play. They team fire onto Cellium onto the point. They take down Prestinni off the rock. That was just cleanly executed out of OpTic to close out this series in a clean 3-0.
Yeah, and I feel like while you're never really going to be fully happy if you are, obviously a part of the coaching staff, like, it's not the full FaZe team, you can still be happy with the result, right? You don't lose a map. Granted, it does get dicey from moment to moment. Maybe you do walk away with some VOD. You learn some information on FaZe coming into the major, but still, you don't want to lose a map to this team. You don't manage to do that. You clutch up. You have some great moments coming through from a number of different players, but as you said, buddy, Mountain Dew featured player, Dashy goes big, Bruce goes off here toward the stretch, goes on the nice little spree, and takes away any of that little Cinderella story type of magic. It sounds weird to call FaZe a Cinderella type of story, but with the new addition, you got to give them that title. But not going to the ball today, as OpTic will stop that and make this series quite quick. A nice W for them, a 5-0 throughout our Major II qualifiers, defined as the best team in the game. And right now, that record absolutely indicative of what seems to be one of the best OpTic teams, one of the most well-rounded teams that we've got to watch in a long time, Jay.
And the scary part is that this Atlanta FaZe team, obviously in this series, a little bit different because they don't have their full roster, but think a big picture. Atlanta FaZe, when you think about their team, they have so much slaying power. Every single time that they've matched up versus OpTic, they've only been able to beat them in 1 respawn, and that's Bocage Hardpoint, which is their best map. If I'm OpTic, I'm getting rid of it every series.
You might have to. We'll see how those vetoes look to progress, and who knows? Maybe if FaZe wins a map. We had that Berlin, we had that Desert Siege up next, so who knows? Things could have been differently, but it's going to be fun, as we said, to watch this rivalry continue to develop. Not sure if this will be an official chapter, but maybe it's just a little side note. Maybe it's written on the side of the page. Who knows? But let's go and bring in the desk. Veli, nameless, it wasn't exactly the series that we hoped it could be, but they showed some life. You got to give them some props for that.
It was a beautiful scrim, man. But then we do got to give credit to Atlanta FaZe as well, right? Because
and Prestinni.
Prestinni, my boy Prestinni stepped in, and Simp is what? He's FaZe's second best when it comes to control, second best in search and destroy statistically. And that first map, my man's went off.
Yeah, Prestinni started off real hot, man. They were looking pretty good early in that series. The first rotation was looking good, but on the second rotation, when it goes over to P1, my boy Scump, he put on the gloves and started frying, dude. Like Solo took over that game for the team, dude. That was a nasty streak.
Right, you got that right. But speaking about Scump, we actually recorded that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Scump's streak, which was insane. The Scump played a game. Nameless, when you saw this, you said, I need to tweet something, man.
I was like, dude, this is literally disgusting. Like FaZe was beating him on most of the rotations. This was the first time where OpTic got like a clean setup, and it wasn't even all that clean because it was really only Scump there as the last line of defense 3 or 4 times. And we went into a listening here with FaZe during this, and they kept calling Scump out like, he's in ring, he's weak, he's in ring, he's weak, and he just kept finessing, winning big gunfight after big gunfight. It was literally only Scump who brought them back into that game. If it wasn't for that streak, him picking up that glide, FaZe potentially win that map, because like after that, FaZe did do a good job moving over to P3. So I mean, Scump really, he took over, man. They needed that to come back in.
You got that right. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the record was broken in that series right there. OpTic Texas won 14 control series in a row, beating out the previous record that was held in Cold War by Toronto Ultra.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
That's very impressive.
That is really good, man. So heading into Major II now with a little bit of, that swagger with you, they got to be feeling great.
Yeah, and that control got a little bit scary too, because they used 2 glides in that round. They thought they were going to be able to close it out on that offense, and unfortunately they weren't able to. But in the end, I mean, these guys are so clutch. You saw Dashy picking up the big kills. Scump also had a big performance once again in the control. So yeah, I mean, OpTic, they're just so clutch. Round 11, Shotzzy once again goes around on that ultimate flank, gets behind them and gets those kills. Like, he just has the guts to make plays like that. It's been working for them.
So OpTic Texas are currently 5-0 when it comes to control on Gavutu, but we have to talk about the simple fact that FaZe was still in the game, even with Prestinni as a sub, and with Simp sitting out and you're going against OpTic Texas, like, this isn't Paris, no shade or whatnot, but it's like you're going against the best team out there. They were still able to hang in there. I think that says a lot about the core values that FaZe has moving forward.
I mean, it's Atlanta FaZe that we're talking about. This team that's been dominating for years. They obviously have a fantastic squad, and they've gotten better over time. I mean, their Gavutu in Major II qualifiers, at least in hardpoint, has been great. Control, not so much, but clearly they were going into this series. They wanted to get more reps on that Gavutu. Even though Simp isn't here, they're definitely going to be able to take something from that, right? Like, there were some fantastic moments on that map. Winning a round despite getting glide bombed twice is very impressive. So yeah, for FaZe, I mean, they're going to have some battles with OpTic Texas in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to see a rematch so bad next week in Minnesota, man. But we actually have a Mountain Dew post-victory spotlight with the one and only iLLeY the Pope. iLLeY, how's it going, man? I have a question. When you guys found out that Simp was going to be sitting out today, were you kind of upset that you wasn't getting a full squad on Atlanta FaZe?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. We wanted. Wait, yo, chill, boys. Yeah. So, well, me personally, I wanted to play like the whole FaZe roster, just because like it's just good practice, going into the major. But it sucks with just like the circumstances that's been happening honestly the past 2 days. But hopefully Simp and Pierce feel better.
iLLeY, you guys look fantastic throughout all these series. I mean, undefeated, haven't lost a match in so long. But where do you feel like you guys have progressed the most through Major II qualifiers?
Honestly, just working on everything, just our comms, just our fundamentals. Like, we're just polishing our gameplay and trying to extend our map pool. We were hoping we got a little Berlin HP in today, but it makes sense like that they vetoed it because they had a sub. But yeah, now we're just trying to make our map pool better and just polish our gameplay and just keep getting better every day.
A quick question, because you guys didn't really get to get too many reps on Berlin Hardpoint throughout this. Are you guys going to be playing that at the major? Like, do you feel comfortable in that map in scrims? And is that a map that you're going to be leaving in the veto process?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, Can't be giving away the secrets. Come on now.
Rambo Ray on here, huh?
Exactly. Hey, yo, iLLeY, man, congrats on the big win. Congrats on breaking the control record, 14 in a row, by the way. But you already know the deal, baby. What you got to say to the green wall out there that will be cheering you guys on hard as hell when you're in Minnesota next week for Major II?
Real though, appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys have been insane since honestly, like, this team has formed. The amount of support you guys have shown, I've honestly never seen anything like it, and I'm grateful for every single one of you guys. And you already know, man, we're working our hardest every single day trying to bring home championships for you guys, and we're gonna keep continuing to do so, and we appreciate your support.
Good luck.
Hey, yo, iLLeY, you're a dog, man. Keep killing it out there. I'll catch you next week, all right? You take it easy.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
No problem, man. All right, so ladies and gentlemen.
Well spoken.
See, I
What a good
love
kid,
Gilly, man.
Absolute beast in game, out of
Definitely.
game. Great interview.
So lovable.
Yep.
Exactly. But hopefully he's not going to be too lovable when he's in Minnesota next week playing against everybody else out there. Can't wait to see OpTic and FaZe there. But ladies and gentlemen, we actually have one more series on the day. There are major implications for this series. The New York Subliners will face off against Toronto Ultra. And if Toronto can't win this game, they can find themselves in big trouble. Yes, they will find themselves on the loser side of the bracket for Major II. They want to avoid that. We'll see what the conclusion will be on the other side of this break. We'll see you soon.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official broadcast communication partner of the Call of Duty League. Welcome to Call of Duty League Resurgence, Rebirth Island. You versus the 12 CDL orgs. To be the best, you've got to beat the best. Sign up through April 7th to stand up and be counted. Those who dare win.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore. Just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids. It's kids, that's wealth, years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out to finish this bid. We finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Job that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big. The only way that I can live. Talking to me, tell them pipe down. Or it's lights out. Zeros on the debit, baby, all I do is swipe now. Gucci sweater 5,000, stunning, buzzing. I be going up, no ceiling. Wow, ballin', running, getting to the paper, I'm peeling out. They gon' know me as legendary. You in the stands, I ain't need no commentary. They gon' know me as legendary. You in the stands, I ain't need no commentary. Ain't no option, ain't no secondary. I just throw it out like a Hail Mary.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League, where you caught us on the last series of the day, which is the most important match that we've had all stage 2 so far. The New York Subliners are facing off against Toronto Ultra, and this is a must-win series because, nameless, if Toronto loses this one right here, what happens?
They're 11th seed. Guess what happens if they win?
What,
6 seed.
Yeah,
we have a whole sheet of different scenarios based on map counts right here. We'll know soon, and you guys will have the confirmed bracket. But the ball is in Toronto's court. All right, they've lost to the Paris Legion. Now they're playing the New York Subliners, the 2 worst teams in the league.
But against Paris Legion, that was basically a gimme for a team that was second best last year, and a team that we can see in a championship game.
Yes.
I like Toronto, but that's unacceptable. And in this series right here against the surging NYSL, they don't have any more gimmies before they find themselves in the loser side of the bracket.
So let's jump into the game field keys to victory. You're absolutely right, Belly. I mean, they lost 2 hard points in the last series, very narrow losses, but like we said, it was Paris. So in this one, show composure after 3 tough losses, 3 series losing streak. Paris, Atlanta, and Boston, all map 5 Ls. So for this Toronto Ultra team, man, there's a lot that is left to be desired. They're gonna have to focus up on that hard point here in this series. They have Berlin and Gavutu. These are maps they have not been great on. I mean, you look at the record across those 2 maps, and it's 2 and 8 combined. So they're gonna have this team to step it up.
Yeah, they're gonna have to step it up. Of course, stats aren't the end-all be-all to being successful, but right now, currently, nobody on this roster has over a 1.0 KD overall. I mean, that's pretty impressive for the simple fact that we know what these players are made out of, man.
Is it impressive?
Right, exactly. And looking at the maps right now, Toronto, they're gonna have it in for them. Currently, 2 and 8 on both Berlin and Gavutu, which we will be going to, and we're gonna see if NYSL can continue on with their little streak because this team has been so impressive lately. I'm loving what Paul is bringing to this team. Crimsix is looking great, and I like the fact that Neptune has his moments now, way brighter than what we saw earlier in the year.
Yeah, Neptune on that bow cage was going off. I mean, he started the map 15
at first.
Like that, yeah, at first. I mean, there was a little bit of a lull in the middle of the map, but that's what you want on Neptune. You want him to feel free. And honestly, bringing in Paul, he plays a little bit quicker than Clay. It changed the dynamic of the team. You saw their coach D-Real on Reddit talking a little bit about it. It wasn't really all Clay's fault. It was just a team dynamic thing. And having Paul on the roster, we've seen an immediate impact in their hardpoint game. Paul's in the mix. He's playing alongside players like HyDra, being aggressive, as Neptune is more so of an island player. So let's jump into the game field keys to victory for the New York Subliners. keep turning the corner in hardpoint. NYSL's 4-0 with PaulX, Toronto on a 6-game HP losing streak. A lot of those being nail biters too at the very end, which NYSL had on that bow cage, so no strange there. And then PaulX leading the way in S&D, 2.2 KD and 12-3 S&D round count turnaround with New York Subliners. So clearly brought new life in that game mode. And then also take the Gavutu hardpoint. Toronto 1-6 this season, but they might even have to go there. That's map number 4. So these teams are going to lay it all on the line right now. This is so important for seeding going into Major 2. This could be the Cinderella story, as you like to say, Valley, for the New York Subliners.
I like this picture from Neptune, by the way, as well. But take a look at this team as well. You said a 2.2 search and destroy KD. That's absolutely insane. Hey, Mama Paul, I know you're watching right now. Your son is going off right now. Let's see if he actually goes off in this matchup. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Toronto loses. They're in the loser side of the bracket for Major 2. If they win, the top 6 seed. So this is a must-win series. Send us over to Bryson Ton, and fellas, it's all in for Toronto, man. All eyes on them.
It's kind of a crazy scenario. You're right. 6th or 11th. It's insane. Bearing in mind they're a similar position to LA Thieves, obviously coming out of Major 1, and both teams could be in straight free fall. The difference in this series, Ton, obviously, is to figure out how good are New York at the moment and are Toronto in the bin. Like, both of those scenarios could be a big deciding factor going into Major 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would say the bit of a difference between Toronto and Thieves, like Thieves can't string anything together right now. Toronto, you know, we kind of know what the issues are. Hardpoint, the glaring one in game 5 at this moment in time seems to be a distinct issue. Obviously, they've had a couple of issues here and there in terms of actual just player health. I mean, Kleenex and Banspall's going through it at this moment in time, so that hasn't helped things either. However, let's not detract away from how good New York have been recently. Their hardpoints looked a lot better, and they're going up against arguably the absolute worst hardpoint team in the game. So, I mean, it's kind of written in the stars which way this one's going for me, Bryce. I'll be honest. I'm feeling a game 5. I'm feeling it. I looked at control. I really feel like Toronto will be able to take that. The search and destroys, you know, for the most part, have been pretty solid for them. Hardpoint, though, Subliners need to get the dub here. If Toronto can find some hardpoint wins, it could be clean for them. But they haven't been able to do that all season, so I don't know if it starts yet.
They certainly haven't. We kick off, though, with PaulX, and this has been the difference maker for New York so far. And he's trying to do it again here. It opens up cleanly with a 2-piece straight into P1. Ultra have held nothing.
Yep, hasn't worked out so far. For Ultra, you know, one of the biggest issues, again, I've spoke about it before. We were in the talent room, in the Ultra warm-up room, etc. during the major, and they just were talking about rotations and how much of a problem that has been for them. Right now, they're having a problem with PaulX, as he's now 4-1 in this guy in every single game that he has been in so far in the CDL. He's just been lighting everybody up. That's 5-2 for him to kick things off. For all the Subliners seem to have had most of the pressure over towards P1. They don't really have the points to show for it. However, rotations over towards P2. Kami, important fight that might set Ultra up to get this rotation locked in.
Yeah, we see a lot of teams get a lot of time in that P1, but not for Ultra this time around. The rotation could prove critical, though. They have managed to get some players in and winning a few gunfights in there as well. We will see HyDra, Prestinni, just hovering around, trying to open up a little bit of a sight for his team. And both teams still continuing to trade around the side, not really able to lock it down for time.
Yeah, this is fine for Ultra. They were the second ones here, and they really haven't allowed NYSL to get much of a point. My goodness me, PaulX, that was very well played, surviving with some help with his team. Able to lock this hill in. Now the start of the point starts to ring on through. Crimsix on outer needs to get taken care of by Ultra, who need to force their way through, get a hold of the spawns as best as they can here as well. Inside trying to do as best as he can. They're going to get taken down, where the spawn's going to be here for the Ultra all the way to the back, and well, basically Kami has to go huge.
Oh, he's been gunned. I was going to say, it's a big gunfight, and Ultra haven't got it. This is just, it feels like the same old story with them. Just not able to get rotations, and when they do, they're not able to hold it. Whereas New York are in ascendance. This is a team that is definitely tipping the balance of power in the CDL, and we're only going to find out how high they can climb. Another big scalp if they can take down Ultras. Right now, they are in the lead, and here comes the pressure.
Let's see if we can find this break. The kill's still coming through here for NYSL, but nobody got a hold of the spawns there for them. I don't know if somebody's misstepped just a little bit. That should be spawns there for the side of Ultra, maybe not. Still spawning towards Plat, but look at the split because they're not spawning there. Neither are New York, and look at that. That's going to come in for Neptune. If you're Ultra, you need to be perfect here to actually get a hold of something. They have managed to wait to find a breakthrough here. HyDra will find one. There's Neptune to possibly find the second. They break back, but all things considered for Ultra there, that's actually maybe one of the best case scenarios. You really haven't allowed Subliners that much time considering how locked in they looked.
Well, one last push there coming in from New York, but now we go for the rotation to train station. There will be New York who will get that first control. You can already see teams racing across the map to try and get any sort of flip going through here. Cammy does find Neptune, and that opens up street for his team. It's going to allow the Toronto Ultra to try and get around that train and make this a little bit mixy. Because right now, they aren't really as close, and the time is ticking up for New York.
See if they can find a brackets. Push towards back docks that they have to look for. Good shots coming in from inside. That might open things up now. The spawns aren't going to be there for NYSL because of the push that's coming actually through from Cammy. NYSL now spawning over towards train. Insight knows it's coming. Can they find the kill over towards the back though to finally start getting some points? And who's that surviving up top? It's going to be Crimsix. Ultra will eventually break on through, Bryce.
They are, and it is scrap time again for Ultra, but that is a decent amount if they can hold this here as well. Clear's going straight through, and he's missed the player next to him as well. Neptune will eventually take him down. New York going to go for one last swing at this and try to put Ultra back further towards that spawn.
They may just try and pin them back into it, but Crimsix getting aggressive will get caught out. That's the worst possible time for New York to lose those gunfights. They could have probably just sat tight and waited for the push that had to come through from Ultra over towards P5, but as it goes, they start losing the gunfights. See Insight now pushed up over towards the dock side, and we'll be covering the cross on the way to the hard point. Not if he gets gunned like that though by Paul X, and all of a sudden YSL can break in. This is a good chance of a haul of points. 3 members of Ultra dead.
They're going to be looking for Bance now as well. They know he's going to go between it, and he is going to get the flip eventually. And once that spawn come in, you saw Bance turn right back around. His job done for now, Bars Fire. But at the moment, it's still New York who are winning the majority of these gunfights. They do seem to be controlling the tempo of this game. And there it is, another one, Neptune, a big gunny there. And you can see New York moving into action. Now they know they've got those kills. They're going to try and get this P1 control.
Will they be expecting it so early here? If you're Ultra, Bance caught pants down inside of office. Now Neptune, can he continue to find the kills here over towards Plat? That should be a second coming on through. Kleenex is going to go for the challenge. The shots come through. Doesn't need his teammate, who just goes for the bait. And there Bance was as well. But this transition for NYSL is looking good. Let's see if HyDra and Paul can lock this one down. Not quite. Ultra just about get inside, but Paul there and ready to fight.
They're looking for it again, and it's Paul X. It's all Paul X. P1 specialist by the look of it, as he continues to just put Ultra in the dirt.
Oh, he's done well.
And I tell you what, Ultra had this rotation. They had the spawns ready for this one, and New York have made them look silly. No points, no time.
Fantastic work by the Subliners, and they're forcing Ultra out. 37 seconds remaining here. Let's see if HyDra can pop off in the round tank. There's one, there's two. Give him the third as well, going up against these EU comrades. Comrades, no more though, my goodness me, that's a huge 3 kills. Completely shuts down the push that comes through from Ultra from mid. And that's a free 37 seconds that was on the clock. And if you're Ultra, you've got nowhere near. Rotate for P2 and try and lock that in, because that is a leak of points over towards P1 for NYSL to lock in.
They are now dominating. New York are dominating here. An unbelievable start from them, and they are putting the pain into Ultra every single time. Ultra just seem to be failing. It's almost like they've not even got that teamwork they're so famous for, Ton.
Yeah, it really has not been there, but that teamwork, usually the comms is for Toronto Ultra. Let's go for a listening with Toronto Ultra.
Could be rubble, could be rubble.
Yeah, they're gonna play for Jamie.
Too long, left.
Yeah, they split
P1. Can you get?
And watch your front door, watch your front door. They're gonna hit me broken now, so I'm gonna open steps. Yeah, okay, I'll get it as well.
I already have it.
Fine, they can go.
Pull like absolutely
Open steps,
Stop doors, HyDra as well.
P5 as well.
P5 dead. Nice.
We're bringing this back, come on.
Yep, we play this time. Alex on the street, dead.
Nice, go ahead.
What, two spawn, only 2
from him on time, I'm baiting him 2, close.
One more,
Close, back with that. One more front door. Weak, Crim on that. I'll play for it.
Get it right here, let's go. Is he dubstep?
Can't really do much on one shot.
Steps.
Crim's old on me. Crim's old.
Where'd he go?
I'm in fire.
I don't know.
He's in there, challenge me.
Just criminal. I've been stunned.
Fire.
Shoot at me somewhere, Crim.
In fire behind the tank.
Crim on the street. Crim on the street, weak. He's like
fire.
tank or something.
You two can.
Or a dub tank.
Yep, fire tank dead.
Oh, absolute, Jamie. He's on time. Absolute. Close right.
Nice. I can try and kill them off spawn.
We're looking for one, ain't we?
They're gonna spawn in the back.
In back already, Jamie.
In the back, Crim in the back. One shot in the back, Crim.
I can't shot him. 2 in the window, 2 back windows.
Got your window, Crim in the back, dead. Could be low fire bombs. Yep,
windows coming left side.
Low fire me.
Quick.
Wow, a little bit of frustrated comms maybe coming in from Toronto Ultra. Not really able to get anything going here as New York extend their lead over and over again, and it's the slaying that's paying. as Ultra, no matter what they do, they're just getting gunned.
Yeah, they really are getting off the map right now. I mean, Cleanix is 12 in 28. Neptune very much in and amongst it now. NYSL just have been so strong on that slaying front. Honestly, what was impressive for me was over towards P2. That scrap. Crimsix staying alive and found 4 or 5 kills while just fighting for 7 or 8 seconds of scraps. And you might think, well, these are pointless kills, but he was just forcing Ultra away time and time again. This transition over for the NYSL once more is solid. Crimsix inside the point, trying to lock it down for his team. Subliners still can't quite win it here, but they're going to be in touch and distance. Ultra have really not been anywhere near them in this game so far.
It is a bit of a shutdown coming in, and New York continue to just pile it on. HyDra even pushing this far out. They can't even find him here at the moment. Ultra look lost. Cannot get into P5, cannot get near train, and they just continue to win maybe 1 or 2 gunfights and then all get wiped.
It's just not working out for them whatsoever. This has been free time for Crimsix and Co. 5 in a row from him. The rest of the team there to clean up the rest of the mess, and Paul X and Co have just done fantastic. Look at that kill, with the other kill feed. Look at the scoreboard in the top left corner. Everybody from the side of NYSL is positive. Everybody has been finding influential kills across the map. There's Cleanix as well. Give you another one. Looking over towards the other side. Neptune. Already the streak's there. Already the win may well be there for NYSL. 1 more point is all it's going to take. Ultra is the dream alive, possibly.
Wow, it would have to be an incredible dream, probably one of the best dreams of their career. Neptune bringing in the glide, just going to try and get another kill with it at the same time. And he does get Cammy, jumping on the point, Paul X. And that is done, dusted, and destroyed. New York Subliners take map number 1 against Toronto Ultra. And that was not pretty. Oh, New York, they look very, very good.
That was quite flawless from New York. I think Crim had a sensational game there. Every time we needed to see him find some important kills. And as I said, even in that moment where you heard Bance saying, I'm going to play for it, I'm going to play for it, Crimsix finds a shot. I think he killed Bance twice because of the dark spawn that's going to be forced in by the fact that NYSL are pushed all the way over towards P3 and then still have P2 control. Crim finds a few more and shuts down the push, and you've got to give a shout out to HyDra around the tank as well when he found the 3 once again on that rotation over towards P1. That's when Subliners started to stretch their legs just a little bit. But if you're an Ultra fan, the only person you see positive there on that side of things is Insight with a positive 4. Other than that, Cleanix 15 to 34, Bance 14 to 27. If you're not winning your transitional gunfights, it's never going to work out for you, and it's been a huge problem for Ultra all season long and continues to be.
It's almost like they're just not really adapting to the change of pace that kind of comes out of this game, and I suppose the only thing I can really say here at this point is obviously in the Ultra camp they get to see more day in and day out than we do, but I wouldn't even know where to begin to figure out how to fix Ultra because they still seem to have the teamwork. You know, we see it in Control, we see it in S&D. Hardpoint eludes them. It is eluding them, and it continues to elude them. Like, we know at the major, they went like 0-8. They beat Minnesota Røkkr in one of the qualifiers, and then since then, they've gone 0-7 again. And New York are on the ascendance. Paul X comes in like some sort of gracing Jesus and says, hey, we're good again.
You know, it's kind of chalk and cheese for these two teams. It's, you know, a team who were struggling immensely. One little change up comes on through and suddenly they look very, very strong. As for Toronto Ultra, like they kind of, I mean, they won kickoff, right? That feels like a long time ago now, Brycey, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that
kicked in.